Hi, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday's live stream. How are you? Let me know how you're doing. Let me know if you have any wins to celebrate. On Sunday, we kind of set intentions for the week and talk about intentions. I like that word better than goals. And any behavior shifts you want to do, like, oh, I've been really wanting to, whatever. So taking some type of pivot or movement towards that, any type of shift in behavior that you have, let me know in the comments. Any wins you want to celebrate, let me know in the comments. And of course, any questions you have about mental health, relationships, toxic relationships, personality disorders, I'm here for you. And while we're waiting for people to come in, I was just looking through the questions. One of the questions that I get a lot, especially if it's about like narcissists, this content I've done on narcissistic men and how they hate women, people will either comment or DM me like, "Are we dating the same person? Do you know so and so?" No, I don't. And we're not dating the same person, but the behavior is so common. It's so textbook like that you would swear. I mean, and like people are like, "Oh no, are you sure? Are you sure that we're not dating the same?" No, they just all act the same, which is so difficult to wrap your mind around a lot of times, because when you're in the thick of it and you fell in love with this person that doesn't exist because they, in the love bombing phase, they put on a show and everything, and you feel so personal. It feels so just directed towards you. So when someone or you see content like that I've made and it sounds so familiar, you're like, "Oh my gosh." No, really, they all do the same thing. They all have the same tactics. They all do the same thing. It's kind of boring. And like I mentioned before, it's kind of lazy. And they just go from person to person and they do the same tactics. So, and I make that content to know that you're not alone. You are not alone. Um, so just know that. But and you want to start to, because if you don't heal it, it'll start to come up again and again and again, like just like any pattern. It's there, it's showing itself to you so you can heal it. There's something there to heal. But start to notice the red flags because they're all the same. The love bombing, I know it feels good, but you also have this feeling like this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel appropriate for the amount of time that we've known each other, what's going on, but you like it because it feels nice. So, but noticing those red flags, and then of course the digs start right after that. And I'm just saying that so you don't make those mistakes again. And it's fine. A lot of us have that narcissist relationship. Hi, Bob. And then we learn from it. And it's like, oh my God, I never want to experience that again. So you do the internal work to never experience it again. Or you get angry and you just move on to the next person right away or too fast and you keep repeating the same pattern. So all I'm saying is it's worth just doing a little bit of inner work so that doesn't happen again. And I promise you are more aware of the red flags than you think. And then so this happens a lot with clients. And I say this a lot all the time, but it is true. And I don't think it really sinks in until you get to this point. But when you are in these toxic relationships and really any rock bottom moment, if you're in the midst of an addiction and you just get to that rock bottom moment, any rock bottom moment in your life can be the start to the best era of your life. I promise you that. And with these toxic relationships, like so much has to happen sometimes. A lot of times when I meet my clients, I'm like, okay, because I can see, you know, 3, 5, 10 miles ahead of like what's going to happen, right? And so sometimes I have clients that are just like completely will believe me and trust me and be like, okay, I'm really done this time. And a lot of times, everyone has to learn at their own pace. So like more bad shit happens, stuff they couldn't even imagine, especially when the narcissist knows like you're really done this time. They go all out and not in a good way. They really do things that you will say, oh my God, I never thought this person would do this to me, because they can't handle abandonment. So it can get really bad. And I know this. I know it can, but I promise you, once you are really done with that type of dynamic, it could be the start of the best era of your life. And also, you don't like, because some of you say, well, I can't just leave right now because of this financial reasons or my marriage or whatever the situation is. You can start that even if you're still with one of these people. And yes, it could be more difficult, but you can decide to just not respond to certain things if you still have to live with them, and they're not going to be able to get the same type of supply needs from you, and they're not going to like that. But they like that. They would rather that than you completely abandon them, than you completely divorce them or completely leave them. So if you are in that situation, please know that you can also have that, happen. It's not just like, okay, well, I'm fucked because I can't divorce them right now. No, you can still be autonomous and you could still do your healing within the relationship or outside of it. Both are possible. And when you start that, when you make that pivot, I promise you it is the start of the best era of your life. Everything will get better. Your health, wealth, relationships, and your career, your connection with God, whatever your spiritual orientation is, it will all get better. Please hear me and trust me when I say that, because that I know for sure. Hi, Robert. Yeah, so let me know if you have any questions about mental health, any updates about you, especially if you're a regular here, and let me know how you've been doing. Yeah, and any questions about mental health, toxic relationships, narcissistic abuse. Let me see if I had any YouTube questions that I haven't answered. So basically, it's like being taken advantage of by other people. Yeah, I mean, so with narcissists, you do feel, hi, Miss Priya, you do feel like you're being taken advantage of because they, again, narcissists only, hi, Miss Priya, they only see you as supply. You exist for their ego needs, to praise them and adore them and all this stuff, or for them to offload all their shit onto you and to treat you like shit and to dump all their shame and guilt, because they have a lot of it, onto, or both. Especially if you're in a romantic relationship with them, you do both all the time, because it's like that cycle of abuse. So yes, it does feel like that. It does feel like you're being taken advantage of. But here's the thing, like, you have more power than you think, even though in these situations you feel very disempowered, because you have given a lot of your power away out of fear, out of attempting to placate them, wanting things to be better, desperately wanting things to be better. But at any time, you can take that power back. And yes, they're going to kick and scream. They're not going to like that at first. But if you stand strong, I've walked a lot of people through this, and you're just like, no, this is what I'm doing, and this is how it's going to go. These are my boundaries. Narcissists, all these toxic people don't like boundaries. But if you just continue to say that, then they will back down. And yeah, they might find other supply in the background too. But with you, they're like, okay, I can't get that supply need met from this person anymore. So stay strong with your boundaries. And it's also really good for you in your evolution, because if you are in a dynamic like that, you probably have very porous boundaries. So it's an opportunity for you to have stronger boundaries. Miss Priya, my question I saved when you're currently called selfish, but they don't show interest in why you are doing something. They just assume you're selfish. They just assume that you're selfish just because of your existence. Because I will say that narcissistic people say that a lot, especially. And sociopathic people, I feel like they say that a lot too, is that anytime you're not doing exactly what they want you to do, you're selfish, and not in a good way. Right. Anyway, thanks, Bob. So yeah, Miss Priya, give me more context, because if they're just, I do things or take trips and they say that's selfish. If you're doing things for yourself, then that's fine, but don't show interest in why I'm going. Well, do you want them to? Do you care? Like, if people are name calling you, who are only labeling you from what they see, And again, we don't want to go into jade with these people where we're like justifying, arguing, and defending, explaining, and you are living your life. And I think going on trips and taking care of yourself and doing things like that are great. But you know, the narcissistic cult of people, like, because it feels like you're in a cult, right? They don't want you doing anything for yourself. They don't want you having fun. They don't want you doing anything that brings you joy, and anything that doesn't directly benefit the narcissist or isn't giving the narcissist attention. They're not going to like that. So my question back to you would be like, why does it bother you? You know, if these people are name calling you and they have no interest in actually learning about you, why you want to go on that trip, and they're just in the background gossiping, well, then that just means they're envious of you. And we can never stop people from talking about us. You know, even the people that you think you like, and or that you think like you, and you never know what, because people are insecure. And so you know, people project their insecurities onto you for no reason. Insecure. And so, sorry, I just want to look at the comments here. I still don't know what true love is. Let me finish up. So yeah, Miss Priya, does that make sense? Like, it's not going to, like, we can't live our lives for other people, but we can't use our precious mental energy, any of our energy, but especially our precious mental energy, to care why they're calling us selfish. If they were, you know, interested in talking to you about things, that'd be different. But if they're just in the background calling you selfish, let them talk about you. You know, that usually means you're doing something right when people are envious or talking about you, unfortunately. Okay. So I am Jan, sorry. I still don't know what true love is like. Well, do you love yourself? That's a good place to start, because this whole thing of like, I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about like romantic love. And so, but the you can experience that to a certain degree. And I'm saying that because people, you know, say a lot of times when they have kids, they're like, you don't even know what love is until you have kids. So I'm taking that part out of it, and I'm assuming that you're talking about romantic love. And so the real way, and I know this sounds so corny, I know it does, but it's true. If you want to experience real romantic or true love, you have to love yourself. You just have to like yourself. Let's start there. Okay. But you have to love yourself so much that you feel comfortable being alone. And I know people have argued with me, but you know, you need to experience. Yes, that's true. And our nervous systems are set up to connect with other people and to be in community. For sure, not taking that away, but to experience like real love, you have to have a certain type of security with yourself that's really going to help. Not that like you have to be completely like healed and everything, but some type of anchoring. And then it's going to be easier, because like attracts like. And so within that relationship, you know, your safe like couple bubble that's just contained with you two in it, then you can experience like real intimacy, like, and that comes with arguing and conflict resolution and seeing parts of someone else that they've never showed you, and vice versa, and being vulnerable, you know. So like true love involves like all of these like things that are I don't want to say not glamorous, but that involve like can be scary, like involve vulnerability, involve like hard times of like having hard talks about things and getting through it, and trusting that someone is not going to leave because you said something wrong or there was something that they didn't like. So I would do those two things. Is first have a better relationship with yourself. And we could always, I don't care if you're the most secure person, we could always have better relationships with ourselves. Like it's an ever evolving thing. So start there. And then from there, you want to, and then you're saying there's no such thing. Well, if there's no such thing, I can't help you, sir. Like that. I mean, and this is true about anything. I'm fat. I'm never going to lose weight because my metabolism. Well, if you keep saying that, that's fine. You know, whatever your belief system is will be reflected in your life. So, I mean, if you want to sit and argue for your limitations, go ahead and argue for them. That's what's going to keep showing up in your life. And you don't have to believe me. Like, you're very convinced in believing yourself that that's not the case. So I tell you guys that all the time. Whatever your belief system is will be reflected back to you. So you could sit around and be fucking miserable. Fine. Let's see. Hi, James. Hi, Mohammed. If you're happy, you will be loved. Exactly. And if you're miserable, you'll be fucking miserable. Like Cal, whatever wants to be. Hi, Fresh. Hi, Lauren. I'm going on 20 months being single. God is training me to love myself and enjoy my own company. I love that. And that is such a powerful experience to do that. There's so much profound, like, healing and just depth of everything that happens when you like choose to be alone in a conscious way. It's a really, I feel like, beautiful time. So I'm very happy for you, James. Hi, Bonita from West Virginia. How are you? If you have any questions about mental health, relationships, let us know. Just tired at the moment. Hope you're good. I am good. Thank you. Yeah, let us know. But, I'm a big believer in that. Your mind is so powerful, you guys. Your mind literally creates your reality. And I'm also passionate about it because it's like the most powerful people in the world know this, and they don't want everyone else to know it. These people, like, I mean, it's a lot of it's starting to come out, but like, literally the most powerful people in the world know about manifesting and know that your mind creates your reality, and have for, like, Henry Ford, all of those people have known that. Tesla, all of them. Even though he wasn't powerful, he was, if you know the history of him, but, like, he understood how the mind works. And so, yes, I know it's counterintuitive. Yes, I know there are a lot of powers in place that want you to believe, like, it's just like this and it's always going to be like this. Yeah, because what does that do? That keeps you disempowered. That you're easy to control and manipulate when you think, oh, love can never be this way. My health can never be this way. It's always going to be this way. You are easy to manipulate. So that's where they want you to stay. But when you understand how powerful your mind is, and sometimes we have to, especially if we've been running a certain program, sometimes we have to really just hone in and train our mind. This is where meditation can come in, and just focus on the thing that you want. Just breathe in and breathe out and focus on the thing that you want, knowing that you're literally the creator of your reality through your mind and your emotions. So you think a thought, and then what are the feelings that you have behind it? That is what really propels the manifestation into being, is that energy. It's kind of like, I heard this analogy that, like, the thought is like the bullet, right? But the emotion is like what makes the bullet go, like the gun that, like, presses the bullet out and, like, actually gives it motion. So how do you feel about that? Like, if someone were to call me, like, fat, for instance, that wouldn't have an effect on me. But if someone were to say something that, I don't know, that meant something to me, then it would trigger me. Like, I have emotion behind that. So can you put emotion behind your manifestations? And the best emotion to put behind it is, like, yeah, this is normal for me. Of course it's normal for me to have this amount of wealth and to have this beautiful relationship and to live here and to have this type of life and this type of career. Make it normal. Flood your mind with it like you're obsessed with it. Let's see. Miss Priya, why do we always hear the mantra, your parents always care for you? They want what's best for you even when they act controlling. Well, parents are supposed to care for you, and want the best for you. But a lot of manipulative parents, narcissistic parents, toxic parents do that as a way to control. Well, I'm your mother. I'm your father. So it's like, now you have to do everything I say. And when they're being controlling, and oh my gosh, I've dealt with so many narcissistic parents where they're like, like sharing Apple IDs and like so they could spy on their kids, and they could even spy on their spouse because like sometimes their spouse doesn't know that the Apple ID, like they can get into the Apple ID. So anyway, to control the kids, not letting their kids use earbuds so they can always, I mean, I've heard everything, like tracking them. It's like sick, right? How controlling narcissistic parents can be. And so, but they do that because that is some narcissistic people have to feel like they are controlling you. So one of the things that they could use if they're your parent is like, oh, well, we're your parents. Okay, so especially if you're a full grown adult, like please get over it. Like, you know, and why is that even bothering you if you're a full grown adult? Like, I don't know. It shouldn't be. Like, it's time to drop that. Um, and it's like, if you're my parents, you love me, and now you let me be autonomous. And that is really true. As a parent, when like toxic parents are really bad at this, they control everything, and they disable their kids. So a lot of, they have kids that are living with them into their 40s and just like kind of like they never launch. They never do anything with their life because the narcissistic parent wants to control them. And the narcissistic parent is so threatened by the idea of the child being better than them, which is so sad. Narcissistic parents do not want the best for their children, and they do not want you being, if your parents are like this, they do not want you being better than them, which is so sad. And it's really something you have to grieve. When I have clients that have gone through that, or like it just finally clicks in that it's like, oh my God, my parent doesn't want the best for me. That's something to grieve. Like this whole thing about wanting the best for you to try to control, they don't even want the best for you. They just want to control you. Again, you are just supply to them. They don't give a fuck about you. I hate to say it that way, but they don't. And that's something to really realize and let go and release. So in the future, when your toxic parent is doing their thing, it just doesn't mean anything to you. It doesn't trigger you at all. I feel that I lost myself. This is Urban Cowboy. Hi, Urban Cowboy. I feel like I lost myself. I had to create this cowboy persona just to get myself in the saddle. Well, I have two opinions about that. There's actually a really good book called, it's not called, is it called You Are the Avatar? Let me look it up. It was written by a sports psychologist, and he works with like all the best athletes and performers like Beyonce, all those type of people. And what he would do is tell them, okay, alter ego. And in alter ego, he tells everyone to get your avatar, which is what you're calling this persona, right? And so so in alter ego, which is a very good book, by the way, if it's in the book recommendation, I recommend. But he's like, okay, you have anger issues, you don't believe in yourself, you have really low self-esteem. Fine. When you hit the stage, when you hit the field, when you hit the rink, whatever it is, that goes away. You become, like for Kobe Bryant, it was Black Mamba. You become, for Beyonce, it was Sasha Fierce, until she integrated that part into her being, right? So you become whatever your alter ego is. Name it, and it has all the qualities you want, and you show up like that. And the idea is that eventually that person, it integrates into you. So it doesn't become like the alter ego comes closer and closer to you. And what it does, it gets rid of the inner critic that is scared and is always putting you down and telling you not to do it or procrastinate or you're not good enough. So the alter ego is so much stronger than the inner critic, and it just pushes the inner critic out until those inner critic thoughts, so it's like, seems so weird. Like, I can't believe I used to think like that. It's crazy. And then the alter ego, because the alter ego is really who you are. The things that you admire in other people or just in general, or that you want to be like, is because you have them within you. You just haven't integrated them yet. So when you're talking about this persona, Urban Cowboy, it could be adaptive, but what you eventually want to do is have every part of you be integrated. Bonita. I just recently I had to medically retire from a job I worked at for 35 years, and I'm having a hard time adjusting. It's like going from 100 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. And is it do you think it's something that is ultimately, Bonita, do you think it's something that's ultimately for your greatest good? Because sometimes, here's the thing, when we have a medical thing like that that comes up, our body will tell us what we need because sometimes mentally we're not ready to hear it. We have these beliefs in place. We don't feel like we are worthy or we're worth anything unless we're working and like going 100 miles an hour. But really, our heart wants to relax and restore and be at peace. And so, is it a thing where it's actually for the best? And like the adjustment period is for sure, especially if it's recent, you're going to have the adjustment period. So, definitely give yourself some grace. But is there something to celebrate here? Have you been maybe like a little bit like subconsciously wanting to relax and wanting to maybe rest and be at home? Is there some other side hustle or something else that you've been wanting to do? Like, I don't know, gardening, being outside, or something else that this opportunity is giving you? Because I have a feeling, Bonita, that it's an opportunity in a very thin disguise. I have a feeling that it's that. So, and also with adjustments like this, what helps, and it's so simple, but just having gratitude for every little thing. Every little thing. Like, okay, I have this medical leave, but I'm glad that I have this um, amount of health. I'm glad that I get to be in my home. I'm glad I get to do this. Like, what can you show appreciation and gratitude for? That will make the adjustment better as well. Um, so yeah, let me know what you think about that, Bonita. Let me see if I missed any. And Bob is on it with the creeper comments. Um, but yeah, I have noticed that with people that retire, sometimes there's this big identity shift that goes on, and it's kind of like, okay, who am I now? Or I've noticed also when people sell a business, they're like, okay, what's my identity? Because they've been identified with this job or this business for so long, and they're like, okay, what is it now? And it's an opportunity to do some soul searching because we are not some external thing, right? So it's an opportunity to be like, okay, what am I growing into now? How am I evolving now? What's coming up for me now? And what do I get to do next? Hi, Tyler. Shout out to you for trying to help people. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm creating a safe space for you guys to answer your questions about mental health, relationships, toxic relationships. So, okay. I'm assuming this isn't like a whatever comment. So you're saying that your girlfriend has a guy on the side. I have to wait at home while they go out. It's hard to deal with. If it's not something you like, then why are you in the relationship? I mean, is there part of you that likes it? I'm just looking at the comment that Bob erased. So it's like maybe part of you likes it. Um, I mean, or just part of you like being a victim. And I mean it, like, because people being a victim or feeling like that, oh, I'm victimized, it's so hard, like they're being mean to me or whatever, is a real addiction to that sadness. You can really be addicted to that, like, sadness and they did me wrong type of feeling. So do you have that going on? Actually, we're married and I don't like it. Okay, then what are you doing about it? If you don't if you I mean, you're completely aware of the situation, that she's hanging out with some other guy, you're married, and you don't like it. So, what is your boundary? You're allowed to have boundaries, especially within your relationship, and if she doesn't want to, um, acknowledge those boundaries, then what's the consequence for that? Tyler, that's awesome. I assume you're familiar with medication, yeah? If so, wanna drop some knowledge on the topic? Oh, I'm sorry, meditation. I was about to get all worked up because I don't like medication. I love meditation. I absolutely love meditation. A lot of my content, my handles are called Mental Health Hacker because I really want to show you guys in every way I can how to rewire your brain and regulate your nervous system so you could have whatever you want in life. And you could get over, even if it's like been a long standing pattern, I promise you, you could get rid of it faster than you think. And you don't need medication and you don't need years of therapy. So, meditation, I really think is a wonderful way to get there. A lot of people are intimidated by meditation. You can do it for 3 minutes or 5 minutes. You could do it for 1 minute and then work up to 2 or 3. Some people say, "Oh, I can't meditate." I think it's really hard to just sit with your thoughts sometimes and watch them and let them pass. But meditation can be anything. You could also do walking meditations. It's just an opportunity to clear your mind. I personally think of it as mental and energetic hygiene, right? You wash your body, you brush your teeth, and it's a great way to just really cleanse your mind and regulate your nervous system. I highly recommend doing it as soon as you can when you wake up. I mean, I'll meditate while I'm waking up in bed. And then as you go to sleep, and the meditation I do when I sleep is to just focus on what I'm creating in my life as if I already have it. But you can meditate just to regulate your nervous system with deep breathing. That's the first place I always start. Just breathe deeply and listen to the sound of your breath. And then notice how your breath is moving through your body. Just do those two things. It's really, you could, and from there, you could do all kinds of meditation. You could do a guided meditation, but they all very much regulate your nervous system. And I feel like I always say, your mind is so powerful and it helps you get control of your mind, right? So you are in the driver's seat, not like controlled by all these thoughts, and the inner critic is like, no, it puts the inner critic in its place. And then you are in the driver's seat and you are using your mind to create the reality that you want. So I can't say enough great things about meditation. You could literally use it for anything. If you just need to regulate, if someone pissed you off or you're feeling overwhelmed, go somewhere and just close your eyes and meditate, or go for a walk. And when you're walking, you're just noticing everything. You're not thinking about anything. Every time a thought comes up, you just exhale it away and you notice the trees and you notice the sound of the leaves and all of the things. You're just very, very present, because a lot of the times, life, and if we're trying to numb out in any type of way, it's an attempt to get out of the present moment. So meditation brings you back into the present moment. And when you have that kind of control over your mind, life is going to get really good for you. So I very much recommend that. Miss Priya, is there a trap of childhood of always seeking parental approval that we carry into our relationships? Yeah, until you heal it. So again, there is a primitive part of our brain that wants parental approval because we associate it with safety and we associate it with love and feeling part of a community and like we're not going to get abandoned. So just logically knowing that helps, especially if it's from a toxic parent, because if you don't heal that, then you're going to go into relationships in adulthood, and that's what your relationships are. They help you, they're mirrors. They're mirrors for the good stuff, and they're mirrors for the stuff you still need to heal. So they'll show you, oh, I still need to look at that. Oh, look, I picked someone, I attracted someone where I'm always seeking their approval and I'm always chasing them and I always have this anxious energy. Yeah, it's going to show up. And it's not a trap. It's just a dynamic of unhealed childhood trauma or just emotional wounding that needs to be healed. And it's called anxious attachment or avoidant attachment, or a mix of both called disorganized attachment. They've been relabeled as anxious, fearful avoid, all this shit. It's like, I don't know why. I don't know if people are trying to make themselves like sound more intelligent than they are. It's anxious, avoidant, and disorganized attachment, which means you have both. You vacillate. Just like fucking keep it simple. So like I still use the old school terms instead of all of these like very wordy terms that just confuse people, right? Because I'm interested in helping you, not like sounding smart. I already know I'm smart. I don't care. I want to help you guys. Hi, J.L. Kramer. Yeah, medication scares me anytime I hear that someone talks about, yeah, agreed. I am not a fan of SSRIs. Take saffron. It will help your mood without affecting, actually, it positively affects your libido. Take saffron. I like brain MDs. You could go on my TikTok and see all of my things about that. But yes, no, none of that. We're not about SSRIs up in here. If you are on them, you eventually, my opinion is, this is not medical advice, that for your brain health, which is what I care about, for your brain health and nervous system, you might want to start to wean off of them. ADHD medication, same thing. That's not good for your brain. And it's very overprescribed. And by the way, it's okay to be depressed. It's okay to go, like, being depressed, and I have been in the depths of fucking despair, okay? And it helps you evolve as a human. We don't need to numb out every uncomfortable emotion. It's okay to be uncomfortable. That is where the growth happens. That is where you really evolve as a human being and reach these other levels of consciousness instead of being numbed out, okay? If you're on meds all the time, again, you're easy to manipulate and control. We're not trying to do that. No. It's okay to have anxiety. It's okay to be depressed. And then it helps you once you understand why, because there's something there that you're being asked to look at, why you're anxious or depressed. Because again, depression is a preoccupation with the past. Anxiety is a preoccupation with the future. Both are keeping you out of the present moment. So I'd rather you heal that than try to numb it out for years and fry your brain with these meds. Okay. Just get uncomfortable a little bit. Get some help. Get a coach or a therapist and work through it instead of just numbing out. It will be so worth it. It will be uncomfortable for a little bit, but then it will be so worth it than having your brain fried and numbed out the whole time. I know that shit is hard, but it's not a crime to stand up for yourself. No, it's not. Let me see. Oh, never mind. Bud Morgan, my wife and my girlfriend are constantly arguing with each other. I don't know what to tell you. Having a wife and a girlfriend sounds like a lot of drama. Let's see, Tyler. You ever fell out of the habit of meditating and picked it back up? That's where I'm at. I changed so much from meditating, then fell out of the habit by trying to overextend help to people. Okay. That is very good awareness. So you might have like some empathic, you might be an empath. So we have to, your energy is so precious and you only get to give it to people who deserve it. And where there's some type of reciprocity, we want to help people, but also we have to always put ourselves first. You have to remember that you're the main character in your movie, in your video game, in your life. So when we overextend ourselves, you can see you're not putting yourself first, because meditation is a very good form of self-care. And when you overextend yourself and you're giving all of you're draining your energy like that, you don't have room for self-care. And I bet it wasn't just meditation. I bet it was other things that went by the wayside. We have to put ourselves first. So I think it's just what you're saying is that, Like, this happened, you noticed it, and it's a good opportunity for you to not let that happen again. It's like, oh, and people that are generous and, oops, sorry, I'm refilling my water. People that are generous by nature and like helping people, and I get it, I'm the same way. We have to be so aware of our boundaries. You just have to. You have to be like, okay, here's what I'm available for, and here's what I'm not, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. Because people that are just takers will take and take and take. And then if they know that you're generous, they might even try to make you feel bad for, not getting everything that this like endless abyss of things that they want. So you get to be generous with boundaries, Tyler, and then that won't happen. And by the way, the generosity and the love and the care that you give others so freely, I want you to give that to yourself times 2, times 5. How about that, Tyler? T-Bird, you can control your mind, but your mind cannot control. I don't think so. That's a novel idea, but it may work for some with small problems, but others can and do affect you. That's a fact. It's not about not having problems ever. That's not the problems are the opportunity, right? But your mind can control your outside circumstances. I don't care if it's been a pattern that has been going on forever, and they're starting to release the information that they can't suppress anymore about people with certain ailments and like serious diseases, controlling their mind and then being able to cure themselves of very serious things by deciding that I'm healthy now, deciding that doesn't matter how long this has been going on, deciding that that's not the case for me anymore. And if you want more proof on that, Joe Dispenza's work is like does all these like seminars about this, and people are getting out of fucking wheelchairs and doing all this stuff that they never thought possible, because he literally talks about the science of it, that you're literally like extending the telomeres, which it has to do with like longevity, within these seminars where they're just meditating and breathing and just completely focusing on the present moment and what they want, the health that they want, the wealth, whatever it is. But he does a lot of stuff around like health. But yeah, you can change your environment anytime. You can. And again, the most successful people know this. And a lot of people that are, understand how powerful the mind is know this. You can change anything. It's your movie. It's your reality. You can change anything that you want in it. Tyler's saying it's not just women, and unfortunately it's values, people that just don't value loyalty. Yeah. I mean, some people don't value it. But my thing is, like, you're the one asking me the question. So why are you attracting that or like, why are you tolerating this dynamic? And so, yeah, you're married, but how long has this been going on? Like, has this been a dynamic that's always been I'm sure it has. I don't think she just magically became this way. So all I'm saying is this, like, your boundaries are porous somewhere. And there probably is a dynamic where it could have started a long time ago where you felt victimized. And so what we don't heal in our relationships, we, even from the past, from like family, right? Whatever we don't heal, we recreate in our relationships. So somewhere along the line, you might have felt victimized, you might have felt betrayed, you might have felt abandoned. And now that's showing up in your current relationship. And you feel victimized and I'm serious, like, are you, just so used to being sad that your nervous system is addicted to it? I'm really like, that's a real thing. And that's what I'm talking about. And with this, is it, let me scroll back up. With this, it's like you get to have boundaries in your relationship. So if it's like, this isn't okay with you, then you get to tell that person that it's not okay with me. So what is the consequence for that? Does she move out? Do you get a divorce? Do you guys separate? You have to think about that. And that's true for anything in any relationship. Like, what are your boundaries? I don't care if it's work, friendships, romantic, anything. Let's see. Good morning. Where are you calling or where are you tuning in from? Salvara, Holland. Masters of Science in Psychology medication has its place in psychiatry, the pharmacology. You don't want patients dumping their medications. No, I didn't say dumping their medications, but I do think it's important to eventually wean yourself off of them under hopefully a responsible psychiatrist, because I have met too many psychiatrists who are just like, here's the thing. You have to remember, psychiatrists are the only medical doctors who do not study the organ that they prescribe medication to. They're just like, "Oh, how are you feeling? Here you go. Here's some med." Like, it's not a very responsible thing. And there are some good ones. So please, like, if you are working with a psychiatrist, please find a responsible one who understands that you're not supposed to be on these things forever. You're not. Okay. You don't have a Zoloft deficiency in your brain. You don't have any of, like, you don't have a whatever, like an Ambien deficiency. You just don't. Miss Priya, do you notice corporations want narcissists as bosses because they take power and get things done? No, I don't. Narcissists, because of their entitlement and their need for control and things like that, a lot of them can become very successful. And I feel like that has its limits, but especially nowadays where there's so much awareness of narcissists, that I don't see that. I don't think that companies go out of their way to hire people like, oh, let's pick a narcissist. What they want is someone like, because I do a lot of executive coaching, they want someone that has a good track, especially if like you're like on the C-suite level, like a CEO or a CFO or something like that. They want someone that has a good track record, that gets shit done, but that also, like, especially in a CEO position, you need to know how to talk to people. The best CEOs are very not only gregarious, they know how to talk to their employees and get them to co-sign on whatever and they feel heard and seen and all of that. They're not just like these people. I mean, maybe back in the day, these people just up on their throne, but it's not like that anymore. But narcissists, they're very, that love bombing stage, they do it in work environments too. They know how to put on like that charm and really get people to buy into them. So it can happen, but do companies go out of their way for that? No. Tyler, you're super genuine. Thank you. I wish the same for you too. I subbed and I'll definitely stay tuned in. Oh, thank you, Tyler. I appreciate you. I appreciate you too. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I keep it real up in here. So thank you. Um John Wood, psychology, there's so much to dissect as it does not define sociology. And there is, I don't know what you're talking about or what you're trying to say, John Wood. Um Let's not do the all caps thing, guys. Yeah, trauma memories, they feel crazy. Um, but if you're having trauma memories, I would definitely work with someone because they're asking to be released. It's your brain trying to digest and release those things. John Wood, the reason behind psychology is procrastination. Does not go. Okay, I need you guys say intelligible things that make sense. Don't give away energy to negative people. For sure. Yes, we don't want to do that little terabyte. We know that. Don't give your energy away to negative people. And that's all they want. I have to tell you, these toxic people, they don't give a fuck if you're praising them or yelling at them. They just want your energy. So give them none of it. I know, and they will trigger the shit out of you to get some type of reaction, and they really love that. It's like they feed off of it. These negative people feed off of your energy. Don't give it to them. Hi, Joe. Yes, it is manipulative. Christopher Adams. Now my former girlfriend ghosted me 4 months ago. Left no explanation. I was devastated. I've navigated these emotions, but I've still held on to the desire to find closure from that. What do I do? That is the hardest. Thank you. Thank you, Christopher, for bringing that up and your vulnerability. That is the most difficult thing. And really, the closure is that she left, right? Without any explanation. And I hate that that's true, but it is, because there is a part of your brain that wants that type of closure. And I feel like even if she sat down and talked with you, your brain would still loop like, why? And if you are working with someone, or even if you're not, journal about it. What were all of the red flags leading up to it? And there were some. I promise you there were some. Even if it was she had a habit of doing that. And a lot of addicts and narcissistic people do this. They just up and leave. They're just an avoidant people. But narcissists and addicts have avoidant attachment style, where they'll just be like, oh yeah, everything's fine. And then they're like, but I'm done. And it feels like there's no explanation, but there were things leading up to it. And maybe you just thought they were like normal things. Like, oh yeah, that's a normal relationship thing. Or you could have thought, oh my God, everything was so perfect because you guys weren't having a real relationship. She was just like stuffing her feelings and not communicating with you. But I guarantee you she has some type of avoidant attachment going on, where they just they're afraid of conflict. So what they do is they just avoid, and they're plotting something in the background for their next person or whatever. And so when they feel like that's secure, they just up and leave. And I feel like you deserve better than that, Christopher. And I guarantee you that's probably what happened. Like 1000%. If you're writing it like what, with no explanation, all that, I guarantee you she has some type of avoidant attachment, and that's what they do. They just bubble up. And especially they also do it if there's too much intimacy, like, oh my God, we're getting closer. He really loves me type of, they can't handle that either. And then they'll just up and leave. So for you, and to really answer your question, what do I do? It's actually not trying to find her. It's not trying to seek her out or chase her to get that, because she's not going to be able to provide real closure. These people are like emotional cowards. But what you can do is do the inner work through journaling. I would definitely work with someone on this if you can, like find a therapist or coach to just like suss out everything, because I don't want this happening to you again, right? So there's an opportunity for you to realize or look into, like, how did I attract this avoidant person? What parts of me are afraid of intimacy? What parts of me are worried about abandonment? And you might have some anxious attachment where you're like always wanting to know where the person is, or you just like always want like a certain amount of love or whatever. Like it just doesn't ever feel like enough. So what parts of you can you look at that attracted that avoidant type? And with avoidance, or when we attract avoidant people, again, like I just said, we usually have anxious attachment. And so where can you work on your abandonment and like knowing that you're always going to be loved and supported and safe in your relationships? And also, what does a safe relationship look like to you? Do you believe in a safe relationship? Like really, do you really believe in a safe relationship where that person's always going to be there? They're going to be stable. They can actually like be vulnerable with you and really tell you what's going on. And you feel like you don't have that like thing in your gut, like where it's like something going on. None of that's there. So do you believe that exists for you? Or do you feel like you always have to work like really hard and like people are going to abandon you? Because there is some stuff there for you to look at and reveal. so this isn't repeated, Christopher. See, little terabyte, I do believe that people can be good to each other. Again, like if your predominant belief system is that people aren't good to each other, that's going to be reflected into your world, you know. But I'm good to my people. I'm good to myself, and I'm good to my friends and my family, and that's reflected back to me. I'm good to my clients and my course students. I very much care about them. You know, I tell my clients I love them all the time because I really do. And I love you guys. And that's reflected back to me in my world. Like, hi, Avian. So do you know what I'm saying? So we get to decide what's true for us. And when you decide what's true for you, even if you don't even fully mean it, like, or fully believe it, but it's something that you desire, why not just try? Just be like, you know what, just for this week, I'm going to decide that things go my way, that actually people love me, that actually I'm safe and taken care of, and that God loves me, or whatever it is for you, instead of having the belief that like everyone's bad. Let me see. Yeah, the red flags. We want to ignore the red flags. Like, I'm not, a lot of times my clients, they feel bad. They're like, I'm so dumb or whatever. No, you're not. It's very common to ignore the red flags. You know, we all want to be loved and we all want to feel great. So, but noticing like if it's just too much, if it's inappropriate for the situation, you know. Yeah, and shadow work is just that, like what I was just talking about. Avian, stay focused and keep moving forward. No more toxic or negative people for good. Yes, Avian, that's what I'm talking about, girl. I mean, I'm assuming you're a girl. I don't know if you're a girl. Sorry. But yes, Avian, that's what I'm talking about. I love that. That's what we're focused on. Christopher, you're welcome. Terabat, I do too. It's me trusting myself that I am worthy. Yes, you are worthy. All of you guys, you're worthy of whatever it is that you want to be, do, or have. Like, you are worthy of that. Please know that. I want you guys to like completely focus on that. Okay. Till Sunday, till we meet next. You are worthy just innately, just for existing, for what you want. You know, whatever you call your higher power, put those desires in your heart because you're worthy. You're supposed to have them now. You're immediately, you don't have to do anything. I promise you don't have to do anything. You're just worthy of it. All you have to really do is receive. Like, just be like, okay, this is normal for me. Of course I have this. Well, you get to decide it for yourself now, little terabyte, that you are worthy, just innately, just because you exist. I'm not a pushover, but I constantly feel taken advantage of. Why do you constantly feel taken advantage of? If you constantly feel taken advantage of, there's an opportunity to strengthen your boundaries, because we really can't be taken advantage of unless we allow ourselves to. And it happens in these very nuanced ways, like, okay, I'll let this slide. It's just like, no, whatever your boundary is, it's like, no. If you, for instance, at work, if you do something, you get paid for it. If you work overtime, you get paid for it. If you own your own business, people pay for this at this time. Like, just super plain and simple. So if you feel like you're being taken advantage of, where can you strengthen your boundaries, little terabyte? Christopher, I've heard of this saying once, and it is direct, but you accept the love you think you deserve. So after what you said, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, exactly. So can you up your, like we're just talking about, can you up your sense of worthiness? Can you I mean, just get really and I say like just for fun, right? So we can override the inner critic and the ego that wants to be like, "No, it doesn't work this way, and you don't deserve this, and it's always been this way." So we're gonna override that just by being like, "Okay, well, just for fun, I'm gonna assume that I am absolutely worthy of everything. I'm absolutely worthy of that relationship that I want, and for things to go this way, and for me to have this much money, and for my health to look like this, just because." I'm innately worthy of it. Little terabyte, you're right. I'm too empathic, thinking everyone has good intentions. My boundaries are going to be a fortress. Yeah. So a lot of times when people are like, "Oh, and I had this too. I had this issue too. So it's like it happens. But it's like, "Oh, I have good intentions, so I feel like everyone else does." What the underlying need or desire is to like be loved. It's kind of like I give all of this love and so I'm going to assume everyone else is that way or I'm just going to put my blinders on because I really want this thing. I really want to be treated this way so I'm going to go after like wherever I can and usually the wrong people because I really want this to be loved. But we sometimes we get that from toxic parents, parents that weren't available in some type of way, just emotionally unavailable, emotionally immature parents. So we're seeking that love from other people, and then we pick the wrong people. We pick emotionally unavailable people, or people that can't provide that for us. So if you can look at that and know that, okay, I'm worthy of the love and care I so freely give, first of all, and that I have amazing boundaries because I care about myself and my energy is precious. So, of course, I'm going to have excellent boundaries, and only the people that deserve my energy get it, where there's reciprocity, you know? Chris, hello. And I'm on the other side of that. Been the subject of people pleasing can be exhausting. Yes, people pleasing is exhausting and it's not cute. I remember telling someone, I was working with a couple and I'm like, the guy was being the people pleaser and he's like, "Oh, I like that. I like pleasing people." And I'm like, "But to the detriment of the closest person to you." And it comes from this insecurity of being abandoned. Like if they don't like me, then they're going to abandon me. But if I overextend myself, they're going to love me and think I'm the best person ever because you probably are a great person. And so, but it's like, I want that love and that recognition for being good or being nice or being whatever. So I'm going to overextend myself. And then that gets exhausting. And then people take advantage of you. And then it becomes what I call the exploding doormat, where you're just constantly a doormat, like the yes person. And then you're like, you know what? Fuck it. And then you explode. You're exploding doormat. None of that. None of that at all. Little terabyte. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Good morning, Salvara. Chris, hello. It can often on the surface seem good, like good gestures, but I often find it disrespectful. Yeah. I mean, and it's disrespectful to yourself, first of all, because you're overextending your boundaries or you might not even have any boundaries, right? So there's that. And then other people pick up on that and they start being disrespectful to you. And then you're like, what the fuck? Why are you taking advantage of me? And it's just this bad cycle. They want something back and I'm not prepared to give something. I'm not offering to cover something they need to find for themselves. Yeah. Yeah. And that's okay. And I mean, when you have those boundaries, you say it like pass the salt, like, yeah, no, I'm not available for that. There's no kicking and screaming. There's not, you know what? No, I can't do that. I'm not available for that. I know you're totally capable of that, so you can do that, whatever it is. But you say it just like you say pass the salt or the sky is blue. It's like nothing out of the normal. All right. Well, let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll wrap up in a few minutes. If you're new here, I live stream on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. PST and Sundays for Soothing Sundays. We just mentally get focused for the week. We chat. Soothing Sundays is at 5 p.m. PST. Exactly, without motion. Just matter of fact. Yeah. No biggie. You're not making a What's your question, Chris? Yeah, but you're never making a big deal of it when you have boundaries. It's like, no, I'm not available for that. Like if someone's asking you, like if you're in bed at 10, someone's like, let's go out to get drinks. And you're like, no, I'm in bed. Like it's not a big, it's just whatever it is. Hello, Yvette. Hi, Yvette. How are you? Welcome. We're talking about mental health and relationships. We're kind of wrapping up. I'm seeing if Chris has a question. He might be typing it right now. And let me know if you have any other questions before I wrap up. I recently cut out a 32-year-long friendship. I got sick of his lack of integrity. Good for you. I think that that's wonderful. Like if someone doesn't have integrity and is making you uncomfortable or just doesn't, your values don't align, it is hard sometimes after a long period of time. I've had that happen. I think many of us have it. It feels there's a lot of grief that goes along with that type of ending or, a friendship that's gone for so long. But he's part of my inner circle in group, WhatsApp, etc. Okay. He's allowed to be friends with other people. He's allowed to be friends with other people, and maybe there's other people in your friend group that see it, but we have many mutual friends. Really, they don't want anything to do with him. Well, I mean, you've stood your ground in your boundary, and you could say, like, if there's an outing or some type of gathering, like, I'm not comfortable with him around. Obviously, if you're hosting some type of party, he's not there. But, there's ways to establish and just very matter of fact, like, and I feel like if a lot of people aren't liking him, then everyone will kind of get it. Not that it's easy in the beginning, but yeah, I think you're doing the right thing, Chris. Just keep your boundary, stay very firm with that, and then you're all good. Yvette, so in my case, my brother always lives in the past, talking about past relationships, and it's so frustrating. He becomes repetitive. This is like the boundaries talk today. This is another time for boundaries. Like, so with that, Yvette, he obviously has unprocessed feelings around the past that he can't let go of. And again, it's kind of part of the depression spectrum is like just a fixation with the past. So if he's fixated with the past, you're done talking about it. That's your boundary. Hey, brother, I'm done talking about the past. If you want to talk about the present or plan something, but I can't do this anymore. Please go see someone. I'm not available to talk about this with again and again and again, because really you don't want a solution. You just want an audience to talk about this again. So I've tried talking about this before. It doesn't sound like you want a solution. So please find a therapist, a coach, someone that you could talk to about this if you really want a solution, but I'm not available to have this talk with you anymore. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Depression. You are right. Yeah. Because depression is a fixation with the past. And so also, it's worth telling your brother that you could really be addicted to being depressed, and you could be addicted to thought patterns. And it's most of us have some type of addiction to thought patterns that we're not even aware of. Like we have this irrational fear of this or that, but with your brother, Yvette, he is addicted to the past and thinking about it and not doing anything about it. So you can tell him that and tell him like, there is actual like a real addiction to certain thought patterns, and you are addicted to the past, and I'm not willing to enable your addiction anymore. So if you want to talk to someone, if you want to do something about it, please do that. But I'm not available to talk about it anymore. It alters my mood. I don't like it. It's definitely interfering with our relationship. Like all addictions interfere with relationships, and it's definitely doing that here. So I would have that boundary with your brother. You're just not available for that anymore. You're welcome, Yvette. Let me see. Tyler, Sundays, I'll definitely try to hop on. It will be nice reminder to balance and listen to logic from one that's like-minded. I'll have to check in with ya. Yeah, of course. You're so welcome. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. I look forward to seeing all of you guys on Sundays for Soothing Sunday. But excellent questions. I think the theme here is for everyone to know their boundaries, establish them if you have not, in every area of your life, health, wealth, relationships, career, your boundaries with yourself, and keep them. And your life will get a lot better when you do that. Boundaries are very healthy and we need them. Excellent questions, you guys. And I will see you guys Sunday. I love you. Thank you. And thank you again, Bob, for keeping it down. There was a lot of times you were erasing stuff in there, and I appreciate you very much. So let's thank Bob as well. Thank you, Bob. Such a great host. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, and then in the meantime, if you guys have any questions pop up, you can write it in the comments here, because I just leave these things up, or you could DM me on Instagram or TikTok. Okay. All right. So I will see you guys on Sundays. Love you.